The only way through is through. The only way through is through. Well, you can choose when it's time to start, but the only way through is, sing that with us. The only way through is through. The only way through is through. Well, you can choose when it's time to start, but the only way through is through. You get pressed down by a heavy hand, but when you hit rock bottom, there's a place to stand. You get pressed down by a heavy hand. When you hit rock bottom, there's a place to stand. One step, you're still in the dark. You take 2 steps, you might see a little spark. 3 steps ahead, you see the light of day. Keep on walking, 'cause you're on. Try that. You take 1 step, you're still in the dark. You take 2 steps, you might see a little spark. 3 steps ahead, you see the light of day. Keep on walking, 'cause you're on. You're the only way through. The only way through is through. The only way through is through. Well, you can choose when it's time to start, but the only way through is through. The only way through is through.
Still in the dark.
The only way through is through. You can choose when it's time to start, but the only way through is through. Again, the only way through is through.
Still in the dark.
The only way through is through. Well, you can choose when it's time to start, but the only way through is. Get pressed down, you get pressed down by a heavy hand. But when you hit rock bottom, there's a place to stand. You get pressed down by a heavy hand. But when you hit rock bottom, there's a place. Only way through. The only way through is through. The only way through is through. Well, you can choose when it's time to start, but the only way through is through. You can choose. Well, you can choose when it's time to start, but the only way through is through. Once more. Well, you can choose when it's time to start, but the only way through is through. We keep it real here at Unity of Albany. Because, yeah, sometimes life is like that. Paul Freeman, here he is.
So I'm Paul Freeman. I've been a member of Unity for 15 or more years, and it's my pleasure to get our service started out with a prayer and some announcements. For my prayer, first, I want to welcome everybody, and in particular, I want to welcome the people that are watching us remotely, either now or in the future. Our mission is to help people on their spiritual path, so we're glad that you're part of our community and taking advantage of us. But if you want the real experience, it's much better here. Come on in if you can. So for prayer, sometime in the past, Rob Geyer ran a class, and it was called Writing a Letter to Spirit. And the idea of this class is this crazy idea. You start writing, and somehow in your writing, Spirit will grab your hand and take charge. So what I have here is a letter from Spirit via my little hand. Dear Spirit, today I am grateful for the life that you have given me. I'm grateful for the adventures and experiences that you have planned for me. As I plan my day, I realize that I cannot control my life, but you can, and you will do such a better job. So today, my plan includes space for your plans. My day won't be a to-do list that I create and follow in detail. Instead, my day will be like watching a movie that we create together. Hopefully, it'll be a Hallmark movie with a happy ending. I will watch my day unfold, and I will look for the opportunities that you place in my path, and I will use the skills that you have given me to bring happiness to myself and the people I encounter. As I watch the movie of my life, I notice what I thought were problems, but actually opportunities to move along my unique path and be the Paul that you created. So I want to say that last thing again. What I thought are problems are actually opportunities. Do you want to say that with me? What I thought are problems are actually opportunities. Thank you. So we are a praying community, and we have prayer chaplains, and like Dennis, you see that purple neck piece, scarf, whatever, and any other, Deb, Ginger, Dottie. So in the back of the sanctuary at the end of the service, they'd be glad to share any prayer that you want to make. And next, do we have any announcements, Lamont? I'm only aware of 8. So again, Pete is having his drumming today at noon. I've talked to a couple people that said it's awesome. So at noon today, Pete will try to line you up with the drum if you don't have your own. But noon today. Okay, next Sunday in the after service, it's the members of our community that have small businesses, and most of these small businesses involve the health fields. And so it's going to be downstairs in the hospitality room next Sunday, and talk to Gerri if you have questions or you want to be a part of it. Next, in 3 weeks, we are having our annual meeting and our election. Now, March sounds like next month, a long way off, but it's only 3 weeks. And Ursula is here. Ursula's here. Chris is here. Tim Segrist is not, but they're 2 of the 3 candidates that you can vote for to be on the board. And we got 3 weeks, so don't wait till the last minute to say, who am I going to vote for? Take the opportunity to talk to them after the service and find out what they like and what their interests are, and be informed when you vote in 3 weeks. The other thing was, this 3 weeks is our annual meeting. And we're all together, and every one of you owns this community. So in that 3 weeks, think of comments that you might want to share with your community at this meeting, and come prepared. Okay, next. Again, it's only 4 weeks, but Patricia Perry, and it'll be at our service, a memorial service for our friend Patricia. Again, 4 weeks from now. And Lenten meditation is different. It's starting this Wednesday, right? Yeah. Yep, this Wednesday. Mardi Gras is Tuesday, so Lenten must start on Wednesday. But it's different. It's not a normal meditation. It's an hour long, and it includes preparation and readings and work as part of Lent. So it's for the Lent time, and 6:30, but it'll last for an hour, not just the 20 minutes. Starting this Wednesday. Again, it's a little bit off toward the end of February. It's a Wednesday toward the end of February, but these are local men. One is a Muslim.
It's a local groups who are bringing
Okay,
Israeli and Palestinian men to come and share.
but it's Palestinian and Israeli, and they're going to try to just make us smarter and show us how we can actually, they're going to demonstrate how we can actually talk to somebody that's, we think is on the other side of the world, or the other side of a problem that we care about. So it's 800 Madison Avenue, which I think is over by St. Rose, right?
Yeah, it is, St. Paul, St. Vincent.
Oh, St. Vincent de Paul, we all know where that is, yeah. Again, it's off in the future, but it's a great opportunity to see two different people show us how to work together. Again, off in February, this is on that. By the way, that's a Wednesday, that Two Truths. Our own Pam right here is going to have a yoga restoration in the afternoon, 1 to 4. And why don't you take a second and say it? I've got something to read. Why don't you just say it?
Hi, everyone. Pretty new to Unity, so you might not know me. What's that? You could be at that mic. Oh, I could be at that mic? That's much easier. Right, there we go. You're a lot taller than me. Does anybody here experience any pain or inflammation in their body? So if you didn't raise your hand or you couldn't, then you probably should come to the restorative yoga. So it's really a class that you're on the ground. There'll be chairs to help you get up and down from the floor if you're worried about that. It's very meditative. You will not break a sweat. You will probably want to go home and take a nap because you'll be so relaxed. So don't plan on doing anything too extravagant afterwards. But I would love to come and share my first offering with you at Unity. So, and I'll be here for Pete's drum and flow. So if you have questions, you can ask me about it then.
Thanks, Dan. And now we have the daily word. Oh, today after the service, correct?
Anyone's welcome. Everyone is welcome.
Okay. Everybody's welcome today after the service, social justice. And now we have the daily word. The word today is strength. Centered in divine strength, I am confident and peaceful. If I find myself struggling to bear the weight of a heavy load, if I'm wondering how much further I can travel or how much longer I can carry on, I rely on my spiritual strength to keep me going. When I align my thoughts with this divine gift and not on the weight I carry or the distance I travel, I'm tapping into the power of God expressing as me. Through divine strength, I am renewed and refreshed. I have everything I need to stay the course. Knowing the presence of God comes to me through many channels, I may ask for help and accept it graciously when it comes. I give myself breaks and make time for prayer and other spiritual practices. Through it all, I remain strong and grateful for the God within me. And again, from the New Testament, Ephesians, finally, be strong in the Lord and the strength of his power. And let's go back in the beginning and say that one thing again. Centered in divine strength, I am confident and peaceful. Thank you.
You may have noticed a little index card in the seats. One of the best ways to share what we have with others is word of mouth. So it's a little encouragement for you to think about what you love about Unity of Albany, and then think about somebody in your life that might be interested in hearing about it. I'm not talking about hitting anybody over the head with a Bible or proselytizing in any way, but just say, hey, we had this really great service on Sunday, and I thought you might be interested. Something like that, you know. So think about it, take it home with you, and then it's a little action homework for you to carry that on. Here we go. Compliments of our marketing team. All right. I invite you to stand up. Wow.
My feet are strong, my eyes are clear. I cannot see the way from here, but on we go. You know the way, and in your arms you keep me safe. Fear not, keep on, watch and pray, walk in the light of God's highway. The shadows flee, the valley is deep, but evil cannot conquer me. Your rod and your staff, they protect me. You give me rest, you give me peace. Fear not, keep on, watch and pray, walk in the light of God's highway. I see a shore from these troubled seas, this tiny ship that carries me. It is not yet, but it will be. So heaven come, it's here we need. Fear not, keep on, watch and pray, walk in the light of God's highway. I'm holding on to you, Lord. You're holding on to me. I'm holding on to you, Lord. You're holding on to me. I'm holding on to you, Lord. You're holding on to me. Fear not, keep on, watch and pray, walk in the light of God's highway. Fear not, keep on, watch and pray, walk in the light of God's highway. Walk in the light of God's highway.
Holy wow. So that's why, I know that there are many reasons why folks cannot come in. Some of my own beloveds cannot come in person for a host of reasons. But if you can get here And it's just that Sunday morning doesn't feel like a time you want to roll out of bed and throw on some clothes and get out the door. You're missing something. Because the vibration of what happens when Pete and Gerri and Carol and Roger create that magic for step along God's highway. All right, we'll see what this mic is going to do today, this morning, wherever we are. So anyways, good morning. Look around you for a second to see who's walking on God's highway with you this morning. And those of you at home, we really are grateful, and we feel your presence. And welcome to all of you. And as always, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, wherever that highway, the movie of your life, whether it's a Hallmark movie or Stephen King, we're glad you're here to strengthen each other for the walk on that highway. It's an amazing thing to me as Roger and I talk pretty closely about what the message will be, how to weave that music in. But Paul, your prayer was just right. The daily word, just right. How Spirit weaves that message in for us to hear. So thank you, too, for our open mic night crew. I know some of you might be a little tired this morning because you were here last night having fun and conversation and sharing your talents in that way. Oh, man. Yeah, I think we need a mic. Clean up in aisle 10.
Looks like it's gonna be nothing left. Let's see.
Do you want me to just go up here?
What is 8?
Why don't I just take mine? Here.
I think you better do that.
We've got this. No. All right, here we go. All right. I just need it a tiny bit taller than you, Gerri. Sorry. Okay, welcome everybody. Unscripted. And with that, I'm actually going to invite you with me to pause for a minute. I need it. In between fumfering to just land again. So I wanted to just add a little public service announcement. Is that too much? Is that okay? Okay. The theme of my talk today is The Way Knows the Way. And it's something, I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. But one of the things about the life of this community is the annual meeting is a chance for everybody to share in the life of this community. And we have had, over the last couple of weeks, people that the nominating committee has invited to offer their service to run for the Board of Trustees. And for a host of maybe I'll use Carol's mic. Yeah? Should I try it again? For a host of reasons, when someone is invited to step into that sacred service to consider it, their initial decision might be yes, and then life and discernment happens and they step away. We have 3 openings on the Board of Trustees. This coming election process will invite us to consider those 3 beautiful candidates that we have right now. On the website next week and in a newsletter, there'll be a special annual meeting announcement page, lots of information. So as Paul mentioned, get to know the people who are running and think about your experience here in this community and know that your presence is really vital to the amazing life that is happening and growing here at Unity of Albany. And then those Lenten hours, the hour of meditation, I do invite you to that. I have found that the extra time that we did at Advent really helped me to lean into the gifts of that season, and I hope that that hour-long reflection time to get to know people in the community will also help lead you into this season, except for on January 28th, which I hope you will all, February, oh my goodness gracious. No, the mic situation hasn't flustered me at all. I don't know what you're saying. And I just hit a roadblock, but it's okay because the movie of my life is still unfolding. February 28th is a Wednesday, and there will be no meditation that night because I really hope as many people as possible will come to St. Vincent de Paul. We are one of a group of faith communities in Albany who have worked together to provide this opportunity. I am so grateful that somebody reached out to me. This was not my brainchild, but when I became aware of this as an opportunity, I was so pleased for us to be able to say yes. An Israeli rabbi and a Palestinian activist are going to share their stories of an organization that is grassroots, just growing relationships. And so please come to that because I don't need to tell us how important it is. We know. And so I hope that you will come to that. Okay. If the mic and all of this will work together, we'll see. So last week, I asked us to think about a shared communal affirmation, something that would remind us not only of our vision and our mission, but our stance towards life individually and as a community. Something that I needed to remember, and so the invitation was to help us all to remember. And so this phrase, which is adapted from Eric Butterworth, is something that I hope that if it calls to your spirit, that you will not only join me in saying on Sundays, I'm going to add this for a few weeks until we get to our annual meeting, to help really hold and build the container of who we are and where we're going. And if it calls to you, put it on your refrigerator, on your bathroom mirror, someplace where you're going to see that. And know that all of our voices and hearts are sharing in this prayer. And let's say together, God is the divine givingness of the universe. My whole being is one with the divine flow. And with that trust, let's let that lead us into our shared vision. We envision a world transformed through the spiritual awakening of all. And then we let that vision and that affirmation call us into living our mission when it feels easy, like a Hallmark movie, and when it feels really challenging. We awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all beings through prayer and service in our community and in the world. And when you take a deep breath in and out with me, letting our breath land us more fully into the experience of oneness that we affirm by our presence, even more so than our words. And we know that we have this power because it is the Christ power, the God power within, as we say these words. The power of Christ's love now releases me from any sense of separation from spirit or others. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, the all-loving goodness of God. And so it is. Amen. You want to just...
Turn the monitor back on.
Thank you. One, two. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Again. Let go of the shore and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery.
No need to make a plan. Your heart will be your compass. Lift your sails in faith. Know that you will ride. Let go of the shore
And let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Let go of the shore, and let the water carry you. Let go of the shore, float into the mystery. Float into the mystery. Float into the mystery.
Will you pray with me and for me? Trusting that this time of meditation and message will touch and open the way, the truth, and the life that wants to be expressed in each of us. So center in wherever you are, here in the room, at home. Centering in on your breath and the physical sensation of being supported where you sit. Allow yourself to feel rooted. We'll begin the meditation today with a sweet, short, powerful little poem from Hafiz, It Felt Love. How did the rose ever open its heart and give to the world all its beauty? It felt the encouragement of light against its being. Otherwise, we all remain too frightened. Picture yourself now as the rose, as an unopened rosebud. Picture the color of your petals, visible above the green of your leaves and stem. You are planted in an open area of a garden. Feel your roots deep in the soil. Imagine it is very early morning. Daylight, the pink sky like it was this morning, is just beginning to show in the east. The night's chill lingers, yet the light brings a subtle eagerness into your flower self. You know with a deep inner knowing, this is the day you will open to bloom. Imagine the sun's rays falling upon you, warming your petals. Imagine the gentle opening of your outer petals, and then the slow unwrapping of the layers of your inner petals. Your blossom face turned toward sun's light. No one has taught you how to open, how to smell so sweet. It is simply your divine nature, revealed and unfolding. Feel your roots taking in nourishment and your beautiful openness giving out oxygen. Opening, blooming, rooted, trusting. bring yourself back into the garden of this room, surrounded by the flowering faces and beautiful beings that you're near. Bear with me while I fumfer with no line bifocals, a mic, and a stand. Gerri, you're going to have to reorganize your whole self when you get back up here. No one teaches the rose how to bloom. No human gardener gives it clear-cut, step-by-step instructions how to grow thorns or petals, how to share its beauty of the color, its heady scent. Its innate wisdom is already within its very being. Sure, it is affected by the gardener, by outside influence of too much or too little water or light, by hard ground or rich soil, or biting frost that kills. Yet its way of being knows the way to bloom. Antonio Machado says, "Wanderer, there is no road. The road is made by walking." I'd like to take a walk up that hill. Have you ever taken a walk with a toddler or a dog and let them actually lead the way without reining them in? The path, the walk unfolding from the energy of their curiosity. Have you ever just set out for a walk without a specific destination, even in your own city or your own neighborhood, and just allowed yourself to meander? Lindsay Scott, and Roger posts these talks or the inspiration for the talks, depending on how talky it is. He posts the PDF, and on the PDF there will be a link to this song, "The Way Knows the Way." When I had that gift of being on Iona, it was the song that led us from transition to transition. Part of a pilgrimage journey is an awareness of threshold moments, even if it is transitioning from breakfast to our morning circle time, going from the gate at the opening of the property out into the rest of the island or back home to our green shed. I'm not going to sing it. I tried. I practiced it a lot. I was like, yep, no, just not feeling, I'm not feeling that's going to be in my Hallmark movie. But the link to the song is there. You don't have to know the way. The way knows the way. Trust the way. Feel your way. The way knows the way. So that week on Iona, wandering over the road, because there is only one road that runs north and south, wandering over the little hillocks filled with heather and cow poo and sheep scat and meadow grasses and buttercups, the beaches. It was so easy to trust that the road is made by walking. The path is made by walking. Those are our Hallmark movie moments, right, Paul? When everything feels easy. It's easy to trust. This week, the path didn't feel so beautiful. It didn't feel so easy to me. I was listening to my body's wisdom, trying to heal from just a good old-fashioned cold. All of the things that it might have been, it is not. Huzzah. But the tired and listening to my body's need for rest, for working in smaller doses than I was used to working. It's been a week of multiple doctor's appointments with my mom, who will have knee surgery a week from tomorrow. It's been a week of reading news from around the world, from our own nation, that some moments caused steam to come out my ears or broke my heart open. The way knows the way came back to me as a mantra and invited me to let go of the shore and let the water carry me. I also really love when I am hoist with my own petard. That's a phrase I remember from 10th grade English class. When my own messages come back to, remember what you said last week? Remember how love is letting go of fear? That the givingness, the divine givingness, gives us everything as food. And when we relinquish our need to control, when I relinquish my need to control, I can learn from my fear. I can learn from my tiredness. I can learn from my anger. But I don't stay locked down, locked into those storms. The story of the Pilgrim's Ark, which is very alive during that pilgrimage week, but is one that I've talked about here before because it's one that resonates with me over time. Saying yes to setting out on our life's journey is our pilgrim's journey. And that story arc echoes the story arc of the seasons we're in here in the Northeast, and even of the church liturgical year. So for the pilgrim, there's a setting out, there's a dark walk, often into the labyrinth of grief. There's a recognition of this gift that you were longing for, this gift that you were seeking on that pilgrim journey was with you all along. You just didn't recognize it. And then you, with your new eyes, come back home and bring that gift with you. The way knows the way. In Christian churches all over the world today, we are not tied to the lectionary in the same way, but I'm very aware of that rhythm. Today is Transfiguration Sunday. It is the 6th and last Sunday of the season of Epiphany, which happens earlier in January. Diana Butler Bass describes the journey from Advent to now like this, and I just loved the image of this. The spiritual flow of these winter seasons are awaiting light in the darkness, Advent, light overcoming the darkness, Christmas, and following the light to its glorious source, Epiphany. And on Wednesday already, on Valentine's Day, we start the season of Lent. So a different way into that journey that our story arc is a part of. The way of all creation knows the way. That's why those wisdoms echo each other. We've just moved from the darkening days leading up to winter solstice, that longest day of the year that transitions right away to the sun coming back a few more minutes every day. And in a few weeks, we'll experience the spring equinox. Our seasons, our story arcs are echoed in church teachings, in wisdom tradition teachings, in the pilgrim's journey. The way of walking our path, of letting Spirit guide our hands when we're writing letters, when we're making music, when we're sharing our gifts, is what we're called to do. Our inner pilgrim journey of life, Christine Walters Paintner reminds us, we each have a particular way. So there's the rose and the gardener, and we're responsible for the choices we make, which help shape the direction of our lives unfolding. At the same time, we're invited to yield our desire to control that unfolding. The spiritual journey calls us out into the wild places where God is not tamed and domesticated. God is the name of the blanket we put over the mystery to give it shape. There are so many beautiful images for that wildness that calls us into being. We are asked, Christine Walters continues, to release our agendas and discover the holy direction for our lives. God doesn't call us to one particular path that we scrutinize and discover. Again, Paul, you're like list making. I'm going to do this today, and it's going to get done at this time. God instead calls us to the fullness of living. God calls us to the fullness of living, which can be manifested in a multitude of ways. We have to listen closely for what is truly life-giving, and there lies the struggle. That's why I keep coming back to this book. I feel like she's read my mind and heart. What if, she says, when life started falling apart, we opened our hearts to welcome in the grief and fear that arrived? What if we considered them as holy guides and windows into the immensity of God? What if all the painful feelings of loss and disorientation were invited in for tea? What if everything that turned our preconceived ideas inside out was precisely where we found God? My fears about our country are many. My anguish over war and violence, poverty, the destruction of our earth, my worries about my family and my loved ones, my joy and delight in walks with toddlers, the gift of traveling to new places and discovering who I am when I'm a stranger in a strange land, the pleasure of just a walk in my own neighborhood on a sunny day in February, the story arcs of pilgrimage and the seasons and the way shower Jesus. What if all of it is where God is calling me, is calling you? Can we, like last week's Tonglen meditation, and like the rose, like the trees, can we breathe in all of it and breathe it out again as food? Food for our spirits, food for our lives, food for the world. So here's another way to look at the image of a rose. I have Mark Nepo's Book of Awakening, which I've used snippets from him before. I know that this one is from May 15th because it is so dog-eared on my original copy. But I invite you into this wisdom, another image of a rose that can remind us of those deeper truths. The risk to bloom. And then the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk to bloom. That's Aeneas Nin. Mark Nepo says, we all face this turning point repeatedly, when resisting the flow of inner events suddenly feels more hurtful than leaping forward toward the unknown. Yet no one can tell us when to leap. There is no authority to bless our need to enter life but the God within. How often we thwart ourselves by holding tenaciously to what is familiar. It is instructive, if chilling, that in floral shops, the roses that won't open are called bullets. They are discarded because they will never bloom. They have turned in on themselves so tightly that they can never release their fragrance. Yet as spirits in bodily form, we have the chance to tighten and bloom more than once. But even spirits, if turned in on themselves enough, may grow accustomed to being closed. That wisdom, the wisdom of how the rose knew to unleash her beauty. She listened to where the sun was drawing her, the light was drawing her. Can you think of a time in your life when that fear, the fear of change, the fear of growing, the fear of something new, the fear of saying yes to a deeper level of being on your path, held you tight? I can think of a lot of them in my life. We find our way by walking. Walking with God and walking with each other. We find our way by listening to what our joys and sorrows and fears, our heartaches are teaching us. We find our way by trusting that time in solitude and in silence, time in deep conversation and presence, all help us to listen to the voice of God within. Listening to the voice of God within will help us discern, to answer the call, whatever the call is, to answer the questions, what is mine to do in the face of all of those other things? Where are my holy heartbreak and holy imagination leading me? Not only into creating the life of my dreams, but into transfiguring the world that calls out to us in these days when chaos feels like it is alive in so many places of our shared culture. We are the just right people for this moment, because here we are. Spirit does not make a mistake. Here we are. The way knows the way. Trust the way. Find your way. The road unfolds by walking. I am so grateful that we are walking together. We're walking on God's highway. Those songs today, let them lift you and fill you and give you the energy either to be still or the energy to find a way to do, but something that comes from that deep well of your being. Because your spirit, the rose that you are, knows how to bloom. And so it is. Amen. So as we get ready to have our ushers come by with their butterfly nets, I'm going to bring us into our offering blessing by sharing actually a prayer that was written by previous iteration of the Abundance and Prosperity team that I've shared before. I feel like it will land us in to this moment of gratitude for the ways that we walk with each other. We center ourselves in the presence of God. As we turn within, we release outer concerns and allow God's peace and love to fill our awareness. Unity of Albany is in the flow of divine givingness. And we give thanks for the continuous stream of good in our lives and our ministry. We know that infinite blessings are ours and come to us continuously. Thank you, Holy One, great mystery, gardener, the blanket we have put over the mystery for the abundant good flowing forth to meet our every need. And with that trust, let's share our offering blessing together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We are blessed to know that Spirit is our source. Thank you, Father, Mother God, and so it is. Amen.
I have like 3 more songs that came to mind during the talk, so I'm going to do those now. And,
I heard them, I heard them too. Need to tell us what they are, though.
but we'll do this one, which you could think of this as the prayer of the traveler on the way. There we go. 1, 2, 3. If you'd like to stand, you're welcome to.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. We used to think God was the sun, God is the sun, God so much more than the earth and the stars or all of creation. God is creator, all in all, needing us to shine its light as we, as you
Oh, yeah. Yep, that's a great idea. I think this will work.
So flexible, we can hardly stand up straight.
We're gonna watch it where it goes here.
Awesome, thank you. All right, butterfly nets, come on up. Divine givingness of the universe, we stand in such gratitude for the gift of being in the divine flow of love, of presence, of time, of treasure, of talents. We will use these gifts to transform and transfigure a world in need of our light. And so it is. Amen. So maybe you're like me and you have some concerns in your heart, some joys in your heart. The moments that bring us to want to have the presence of our beloved community with us. And so we pause for a moment before we offer our prayer of protection to just say out loud, if you want to, right in your seat or at home, or just say in the quiet of your heart, those joys and concerns, all that you are aware of as the food that feeds you on the road. I'm not much on social media these days, but I was struck the other day by an image of a beach, I think actually in the UK, where items of children's clothing were laid on the sand to represent the children who have been killed in Palestine. 15,000. And it stretched for 5 kilometers. And then it made me think of the heart-opening gift of being at Yad Vashem in Israel and walking through the children's memorial there. The 1.5 million children who were killed in the Holocaust, where it takes 5 years to say the names of those children and where they were from, because they're repeated in German, English, and Hebrew. I watched the little documentary on Netflix about We Are the World, song that came out in the mid-'80s to raise money for famine-struck Ethiopia. We are the world. We are the path. We are the heartbreak. We are the peace. And we cannot do it alone. We do not do it alone. It is not by our own efforts. It is by our willingness to let our eyes and our hearts continuously be broken open. It is by our time in the silence, listening to where God calls us. And it is our time in the world of creating the world we know can be, that is. So wherever your holy heartbreak leads you today, as we say the words of this beautiful prayer, and we get to that line where we trip over the unrepeatableness of ourselves. Trip over it if you must. But feel the truth that you are, that we are and that we are walking the path with God. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. We are unrepeatable expressions of the divine. And so it is. Amen.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going. We know within we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. Again, we are going. Heaven knows where we are going. We know within we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. But we know we will. It may be hard, we know, and the road may be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We are going. Heaven knows where we are going. We know within we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. And it may be hard, we know, and the road may be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. We know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. 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 Yeah. So we'd like to invite you downstairs. If you don't need to rush out, come on downstairs, have a chat, say hello to folks, talk to our board nominee peoples. Thanks. Have a great week.